Do you remember when you were in school, the teacher would talk to you about the seasons of the year? Well, normally they talk about spring, summer, fall, and winter, right? Four seasons, right? Not in Indiana. Mm-mm. Indiana is one of those states that does not have four seasons. And let me give you the actual explanation because you see where we are, where we're going, and what to expect. Currently, we are in what is known as false fall. Now, false fall, well, the temperature drops down into the 40s, almost into the 30s in the morning, and temperature gets up to maybe in the 60s, maybe 70. Well, that's kind of like a false fall, but we're in the month of August. Oh, false fall. Then suddenly, second summer comes. Ta-da! It's wonderful. You say, well, I don't have to take out the lake pier. It's wonderful right now. We're having our second summer. Well, that's all well and good. But eventually, we get into real fall. Only last week, okay? Just so you know, real fall last week. Hurry up, get your pictures, get it done. And it can be quick. It'll be over. You won't even forget it. All right. And then winter kicks in. Yep. Does anybody remember that October snowstorm we had back in I think it was back in the 80s, at 8 inches in October? Yeah, it does happen. So now we're going into winter, right? Fine. And then what happens? Well, then January comes around, and what happens? The sun disappears. Let's be honest, folks. The month of January, do you really see the sun in the state of Indiana? Nah, you don't. You don't. And then what do we get next? We get the snowmageddon. That's right. The snow starts to come, starts piling up. It didn't go away, starts piling up. You get snowmageddon. Sometimes the snowmageddon is worse. Sometimes it's less. But everybody remember the blizzard of 1978? I remember it quite well. Thank you very much. That was in January. Snowmageddon. We've had it before. And if you believe what the Our Farmer's Almanac says, we're supposed to have a snowy winter. So just telling you. Now, then what happens? Well, around February, late February, maybe early March, you get fake spring. Whew, suddenly nice. Everybody wants to take the car to Mike's Car Wash, get it washed up. Everything looks perfect. Fake spring. You think it's spring, it's not. And then second winter. That's right, our second winter shows up again. Sure enough, back there in March, winter starts again. And then, well, once again they get that winter done, then what do we experience? Tornado season. Yeah, that'll start in March, April. Tornado season shows up, folks. That's another season we have. And then suddenly we get a third winter. It gets cold, you get some snow, and you're going, wait a minute, snowing in April? It can't be doing that, but it does. Third winter. And then, after winter's over, pollen. Yeah, all them little flakes, all that sneezing, sniffling, taking all those drugs. Yeah, that's the season, pollen season. And then, well, we get more tornadoes. Then you start getting the May tornadoes. Hey, even in June, it happens. We get tornadoes. That's what we get. And then, of course, when suddenly, finally, June rolls around, tornado season is over, then we get the surface of the sun. Yeah, temperature gets over 90 degrees. You're swelting. You're sweating all over the place. It's going to be close to 100. Why, the index says it's going to feel like it's over 100, surface of the sun. And we get that. And then, well, here comes a little bit of break. It gets a little cooler. It's not in the 90s. It's in the 80s. You're going, hey, this is really comfortable. Really comfortable. And then as you get farther into the summer, you get what is known as corn sweat. Ever heard of that? Corn sweats and puts out a whole lot of moisture in the air. And then the air gets really moisture filled. Then the humidity levels are up around 95%. Because in Indiana, we grow two things, corn and soybeans. And when the corn sweats, the humidity goes up. That's what you experience in the state of Indiana. And then finally, back to the heat of the sun. Once again, temperatures up into the 90s. They say it's going to feel like it's in the 100s. There's nothing. And that's what we get for Indiana. And then, eventually, back to fake fall. So now you realize, folks, We don't have 4 seasons in the state of Indiana. We have multiple seasons. And right now we're in fall. And then, of course, then you're going to get perfect summer coming up again pretty soon. And then fall shows up. So now you know what's going on, folks. Now you understand Indiana. No 4 seasons, plenty of seasons, because that's what makes Indiana, Indiana.